Jin Su took a deep breath as he walked through the gleaming doors of Galaxy Tower, the tallest building in New Seoul. His heart beat quickly in his chest. This was his first assignment as a junior diplomat for the Earth Alliance, and he couldn't afford to make mistakes. Floor 87, Interspecies Relations Department. He told the elevator's AI system. Voice recognized. Welcome, Diplomat Park Jin Su. The smooth voice responded as the elevator shot upward. Jin Su checked his reflection in the mirrored wall. His dark blue formal suit looked perfect, but he couldn't help adjusting his collar again. The message he had received yesterday still confused him. Director Kim had assigned him to meet with an important visitor from the Lumi Federation, an advanced alien civilization that had made contact with Earth only 5 years ago. You have the right background in xenobiology, Director Kim had said. Just listen to what the Lumi representative wants and report back. Nothing complicated. The elevator doors opened with a soft chime. Jin Su stepped into a reception area where his supervisor, senior diplomat Su-min, waited. There you are, Jin Su, she said with a small smile. Are you ready for your meeting with Nari? I think so, Jin Su replied, trying to sound confident. But I'm still not sure why they asked for me specifically. I've never even met a Lumi before. Su-min handed him a tablet. They reviewed our staff profiles and selected you. Consider it an honor. The Lumi are very particular. She lowered her voice. Remember, this is a simple cultural exchange. Neri wants to learn about human social customs, and we want to maintain good relations with the Lumi. Their technology could help solve our climate crisis. Jin Su nodded, scanning the brief information on the tablet. Neri was a mid-level diplomatic representative, equivalent to his own rank. The meeting location seemed odd, though. The Sky Garden restaurant. Isn't that a bit fancy for a work meeting? Su-min shrugged. The Lumi requested it. They're fascinated by our customs, including how we eat. This is more cultural exchange than formal diplomacy. Before Jin Su could ask more questions, his communication device buzzed. Neri has arrived at the restaurant, Su-min said, checking her own device. You should head up. Floor 115. As the elevator carried him higher, Jin Su reviewed what little he knew about the Lumi. They were humanoid with pale blue skin that seemed to glow from within. Their society valued harmony and collective decision-making. Unlike humans, they communicated both verbally and through subtle color changes in their skin. Most importantly, they had mastered clean energy technology that Earth desperately needed. The Sky Garden restaurant occupied the entire top floor of Galaxy Tower. One wall was entirely glass, offering a breathtaking view of New Seoul stretching to the mountains. The other walls were covered with living plants that grew up toward the transparent ceiling. Small floating lights drifted between the tables, creating a dreamy atmosphere. A host approached Jin Su as soon as he stepped inside. Diplomat Park, your guest is already seated. Please follow me. Jin Su felt a wave of nervousness as he spotted the Lumi waiting at a corner table. Neri was taller than he had expected, with the characteristic blue skin that seemed to pulse gently with inner light. Her features were delicate, almost human except for the large, silvery eyes and the small ridged patterns along her temples. Diplomat Park Jin Su, Neri said, standing as he approached. Her voice had a musical quality that the translation device couldn't fully capture. I am honored by your presence. Jin Su bowed slightly, remembering the cultural briefing. The honor is mine, Representative Neri. Neri gestured to the seat across from her. Please, join me. I have taken the liberty of ordering refreshments that should be compatible with human physiology. As Jin Su sat down, he noticed the table was already set with strange, shimmering beverages and small plates of colorful foods he didn't recognize. These are from my world, Neri explained, noting his curious expression. Modified to be safe for you. I thought we might begin our exchange by sharing food customs. That's very thoughtful, Jin Su replied, trying to hide his surprise. This seemed more like a personal dinner than a professional meeting. Neri's skin brightened slightly. I selected you specifically, Jin-Soo Park, because your profile indicated extensive knowledge of biological systems and cultural adaptation. These qualities are highly valued among my people. Jin-Soo took a small sip of the beverage. It tasted like honey mixed with something citrusy. I'm flattered, but I'm just a junior diplomat. There are others with more experience. Experience is not what I seek, Neri said, her skin shifting to a deeper blue. I seek compatibility. Jin-Soo wasn't sure what to make of that comment, but pressed on professionally. So, what aspects of human culture are you most interested in learning about? Your courtship rituals, Neri replied immediately. Jin-Soo nearly choked on his drink. I'm sorry. The ways in which humans form bonds, Neri clarified. It is fascinating to us. The Lumi form connections through shared purpose and biochemical harmony. But humans, her skin rippled with patterns of light. Humans choose partners based on complex emotional responses that seem almost random to us. Jin-Soo shifted uncomfortably. That's not really my area of expertise. Perhaps someone from the Cultural Studies Department. But you have participated in human courtship, have you not? Neri asked, leaning forward slightly. Well, yes, I've dated, but... Excellent, Neri said, her skin glowing brighter. This personal perspective is precisely what I need. Before Jin-Soo could redirect the conversation, a server approached with what looked like a small glowing crystal on a silver tray. A traditional gift, Neri explained, taking the crystal and offering it to Jin-Soo. Among my people, it is customary to present a token of intention at first meetings of significance. Jin-Soo hesitated, remembering his diplomatic training. Refusing a gift could be seen as deeply offensive in many cultures. He carefully accepted the crystal, which felt warm in his palm. Thank you, he said, unsure what else to add. Neri's skin pulsed with what seemed like approval. You honor me by accepting. The crystal responds to your bioelectrical field. See how it glows brighter. Indeed, the crystal had begun to shine more intensely, changing from blue to a soft purple. It's beautiful, Jin-Soo admitted, but I don't have anything to give in return. Your company is gift enough, Neri replied. Now shall we discuss the terms of our arrangement? Arrangement, Jin-Soo repeated, confused. Neri produced a small, transparent tablet. Yes, a formal agreement for our continued interactions. My superiors require documentation of all significant exchanges. Jin-Soo relaxed slightly. This sounded more like the diplomatic formalities he was familiar with. Of course, a record of our cultural discussions. Precisely, Neri said, her skin shimmering in a pattern Jin-Soo couldn't interpret. Please place your hand here to acknowledge our intent to proceed. Jin-Soo did as instructed, pressing his palm to the tablet. It glowed briefly, then displayed symbols in the Lumi language. Excellent, Neri said, her voice taking on a warm tone. The preliminary agreement is confirmed. We will meet again tomorrow to continue our exchange. As they finished their meal, Jin-Soo couldn't shake the feeling that something important had happened, something beyond a simple cultural discussion. But Neri seemed pleased, and maintaining good relations with the Lumi was his job. Until tomorrow, Jin-Soo Park, Neri said as they parted at the elevator. I look forward to our next encounter with great anticipation. Jin-Soo bowed politely, the crystal gift tucked safely in his pocket. Likewise, Representative Neri. Only later, as he was filing his report, did Jin-Soo wonder why Neri's skin had turned such a bright, intense blue when he'd agreed to meet again. Retri Jin-Soo arrived at the Botanical Gardens 15 minutes early for his second meeting with Neri. The Lumi representative had requested this location, saying it reminded her of her homeworld's famous crystal forests. He walked slowly through the paths lined with exotic plants, some from Earth and others from distant planets, thinking about yesterday's strange dinner. Something about Neri's intense interest in human relationships still bothered him. He had reported everything to Director Kim, who seemed pleased but offered little guidance beyond continue building rapport. The crystal Neri had given him sat in his pocket. He had tried to research its significance overnight, but found nothing in the diplomatic database about Lumi gift customs. When he touched it this morning, it had grown warmer and changed to a deeper purple color. Jin Su Park. Neri's musical voice came from behind him. He turned to see the Lumi diplomat standing near a tall, twisting tree with blue leaves. Today, her skin seemed even more luminous, pulsing with subtle patterns of light. "Thank you for coming," Jin Su said with a polite bow. "This is a beautiful location for our cultural exchange." Neri moved closer, her silvery eyes examining him carefully. "You brought the harmony crystal." "Excellent." Jin Su touched his pocket where the crystal rested. "Yes, it's quite remarkable. It seems to respond to me somehow. It attunes to your specific energy patterns," Neri explained. "Among my people, such crystals are given only to those with whom we seek deeper connection." Jin Su wasn't sure how to respond to that. "I appreciate the special gift. Should we continue our discussion about Lumi and human cultural differences?" "Yes," Neri said, gesturing toward a small pavilion surrounded by flowering plants. "I have prepared a traditional Lumi refreshment ceremony." Inside the pavilion, a low table was set with strange, beautiful vessels made of something that looked like glass, but moved slightly, as if alive. Neri indicated that Jin Su should sit on one of the cushions across from her. "In my culture," Neri explained as she poured a glowing blue liquid into 2 cups, "sharing food and drink creates bonds between individuals. It is more than simple nutrition. It is an exchange of essence." Jin Su nodded politely, accepting the cup she offered. Many human cultures have similar beliefs. Breaking bread together is considered a way to build trust and friendship. "Friendship," Neri repeated the word slowly. "Yes, this is the beginning stage of what we are cultivating." The drink tasted like nothing Jin Su had ever experienced, sweet and tart at once, with something else he couldn't identify. A pleasant warmth spread through his body. "This is delicious," he said. "What do you call it?" "In your language, it would translate as connection nectar," Neri replied. Her skin shifted to a deeper blue with purple spirals moving across her arms. "It is traditionally served during bonding ceremonies." Jin Su nearly choked on his second sip. "Bonding ceremonies?" "Yes, what you might call courtship rituals," Neri said calmly. "Is that not what we agreed to study together?" Jin Su set his cup down carefully. "I thought we were discussing cultural differences in general. I didn't realize we were specifically focusing on bonding." Neri tilted her head, her expression curious. "But you accepted the harmony crystal, and you pressed your hand to the intention tablet." "I was being polite," Jin Su explained, feeling increasingly uncomfortable. "In human diplomacy, we often exchange gifts and sign agreements about our discussions." Neri was quiet for a moment, her skin cycling through several colors before settling on a thoughtful shade of turquoise. "I see the confusion now. When a Lumi offers a harmony crystal, and it is accepted, it indicates mutual interest in exploring compatibility for potential life pairing." Jin Su felt his face grow hot. "Life pairing? You mean like marriage?" "That is an imprecise translation, but similar in concept," Neri confirmed. "Did Director Kim not explain this when arranging our meetings?" "No," Jin Su said weakly. "She said this was a standard cultural exchange." Neri's skin darkened slightly. "There has been a significant translation error. The Lumi Federation informed your Earth Alliance that I was seeking a compatible human for extended personal and cultural bonding research. When you were selected and accepted the meeting, we assumed you understood." Jin Su struggled to keep his diplomatic composure. "So yesterday wasn't just a meeting. It was actually a date." "Yes," Neri said simply. "And by accepting the crystal and touching the agreement tablet, You indicated willingness to continue the compatibility assessment. Jin Su took a deep breath. Neri, I'm very sorry for the misunderstanding. In human culture, I would have needed to know this was a romantic meeting before agreeing to it. To his surprise, Neri's skin brightened. This misunderstanding is valuable data. Among Lumi, intentions are always explicitly communicated through proper channels before any meeting occurs. The concept of unexpected romantic interest is foreign to us. Jin Su felt relieved that Neri wasn't offended. So you're not disappointed? On the contrary, Neri said, her skin rippling with what Jin Su was beginning to recognize as excitement. This confirms my research hypothesis that humans and Lumi have fundamentally different approaches to pair bonding. My research will benefit greatly from this insight. Jin Su relaxed slightly. So this is actually research for you? Of course, Neri replied. Though I should clarify, all Lumi relationships begin as research. We study compatibility before allowing emotional attachment to develop. Did you think I was experiencing what humans call love at first sight? Jin Su couldn't help but laugh. I didn't know what to think. This is my first assignment. Neri's skin swirled with new patterns. Your laughter creates fascinating harmonic vibrations. Would you demonstrate that again? Jin Su felt himself smiling. Despite the awkward misunderstanding, there was something endearing about Neri's direct approach. I can't laugh on command, he explained. It happens naturally when something is funny or when I'm happy. Fascinating, Neri murmured. Involuntary emotional expression. May I record this data for my research? Sure, Jin Su agreed, feeling more comfortable now that he understood the situation. And maybe I can learn about Lumi expressions too. Your skin colors, do they always show your emotions? They reflect our internal state, Neri confirmed. We cannot hide our true reactions as humans can with your fixed color skin. They spent the next hour exchanging information about emotional expressions in their respective species. Jin Su demonstrated smiling, frowning, and even tried to make himself blush. Neri showed him how Lumi's skin patterns indicated various emotional states. As they were finishing their discussion, Neri produced another tablet. Since we have clarified the nature of our meetings, would you be willing to continue our cultural exchange? Not as potential life pairs, but as research partners. Jin Su considered this. Despite the initial confusion, he was enjoying learning about Lumi culture, and this could be valuable experience for his diplomatic career. I'd like that, he said, but we should clarify the terms to avoid future misunderstandings. Agreed, Neri said, her skin glowing with a warm golden light. I will prepare a proper research agreement. As Neri adjusted settings on the tablet, Jin Su realized the crystal in his pocket had grown quite warm. When he touched it, it pulsed with light that matched the patterns on Neri's skin. The crystal, he said, pulling it out. It's responding to you. Neri looked up, her expression showing surprise. At least Jin Su thought it was surprise, based on their recent lesson in Lumi expressions. That is, unexpected, she said quietly. Harmony crystals only synchronize with Lumi skin patterns when there is genuine compatibility. What does that mean? Jin Su asked. Neri's skin cycled through several colors before settling on a deep, rich blue. It means that despite our cultural differences, there may be more compatibility between us than I anticipated. She hesitated, then added, perhaps we should not eliminate the possibility of more personal connection in the future. Jin Su felt a strange flutter in his chest as the crystal pulsed warmly in his hand. Maybe we should just take things one step at a time, starting with being clear about what each step means. A wise approach, Neri agreed, extending her hand in what Jin Su recognized as a human gesture she must have learned. Shall we begin again, Jin Su Park? As research partners with potential for evolution. Jin Su took her hand, noting how her skin glowed brighter at the contact. I'd like that, Neri. Though I should probably tell my supervisor that I'm not actually on a date. Neri's skin rippled with what Jin Su now recognized as amusement. Perhaps not yet, but in my culture, we have a saying, understanding begins with misunderstanding. As they shook hands, the crystal between them pulsed with light, casting colorful shadows across their faces. Retri Jinsu sat uncomfortably in Director Kim's office, watching his supervisor's face change from confusion to shock as she read the document on her screen. The morning had started normally enough until he received an urgent message to report to the director immediately. Jinsu, Director Kim finally said, looking up from her screen, "Do you have any idea what this is?" She turned the screen toward him. He leaned forward to read the complex document filled with Lumi symbols and Earth Alliance official seals. The title at the top read, Genetic Collaboration Agreement. "I'm not sure," Jin Su admitted, feeling his stomach tighten. "Nari and I agreed to continue our cultural exchange as research partners. She said she would prepare a proper agreement." Director Kim pinched the bridge of her nose. "This is not a cultural exchange agreement. This is a binding Lumi breeding contract." Jin Su felt the blood drain from his face. "A what?" "A breeding contract," Director Kim repeated, her voice strained. "The Lumi Federation sent it to Earth Alliance headquarters this morning with great excitement, announcing the first official human-Lumi pairing. The president called me personally." Jin Su stood up so quickly his chair nearly tipped over. "There must be a mistake. We were just talking about cultural differences. I never agreed to breed with anyone." Director Kim held up her hand. "Sit down, Jin Su. I need you to think carefully. Did you sign or touch anything Neri gave you yesterday?" Jin Su sank back into his chair, thinking hard. "She had a tablet. I pressed my hand to it to confirm we would continue our meetings, but that was before we cleared up the misunderstanding about dating." "What misunderstanding?" Director Kim asked sharply. Jin Su explained the confusion from their first two meetings, how Neri had thought they were exploring romantic compatibility, while he believed they were having standard diplomatic discussions. "We sorted it out," he finished. "Neri understood the confusion and suggested we continue as research partners instead." Director Kim looked troubled. "Did she specifically say the tablet agreement was canceled?" Jin Su tried to remember their exact conversation. "Not in those words. She said she would prepare a proper research agreement, which apparently is this," Director Kim said, gesturing to the screen. "Jin Su, the Lumi take contracts extremely seriously. Their entire society is built on clearly defined agreements. Breaking one without proper procedure is considered deeply dishonorable." Jin Su's mind raced. "But I didn't know what I was agreeing to. That can't be binding. In human law, perhaps not. But this falls under interspecies treaty law," Director Kim explained. "The agreement is registered with both governments. Canceling it now would be a major diplomatic incident." Jin Su felt sick. What exactly does a breeding contract mean for the Lumi? Am I expected to? Director Kim's expression softened slightly. "It's not what you're thinking. According to our xenobiologists, Lumi reproduction is not compatible with humans. This is more about cultural and intellectual exchange, with the goal of producing new ideas and approaches, metaphorical offspring, not literal ones." Jin Su let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "That's somewhat better, but I still didn't knowingly agree to this." "I understand," Director Kim said, "but we have a delicate situation. The Lumi are offering unprecedented access to their clean energy technology as part of this agreement. Earth Alliance leadership is enthusiastic about the possibilities." Jin Su stared at her. "Are you saying I need to go through with this?" "I'm saying we need to handle this carefully," Director Kim replied. "The contract is for 1 Earth year. It requires regular meetings with Neri to exchange cultural and scientific knowledge, documentation of your discussions, and participation in certain Lumi rituals." "What kind of rituals?" Jin Su asked warily. "Nothing inappropriate," Director Kim assured him. mostly ceremonial events to mark different phases of the collaboration. Jin Su ran his hands through his hair in frustration. I can't believe this is happening. My first assignment, and I accidentally get myself into an alien breeding contract. The door to the office opened suddenly, and senior diplomat Su Min rushed in, looking flustered. Director, the Lumi representative is here. She's asking to see Jin Su. Jin Su froze. Nari is here. Now. Director Kim stood up. Show her in, Su Min. Jin Su, stay calm. Let's sort this out directly. Neri entered the office, her skin glowing with bright, excited patterns. She wore formal Lumi attire, flowing garments that seemed to shift color with her skin. When she saw Jin Su, her skin brightened further. Jin Su Park, she said warmly. I came as soon as the collaboration agreement was officially registered. This is a historic day for both our peoples. Jin Su looked helplessly at Director Kim, who nodded encouragingly. Nari, he began carefully, I think there's been another misunderstanding about the agreement I accepted. Nari's skin dimmed slightly. Misunderstanding. The terms were clearly outlined in the documentation. In Lumi language, Jin Su pointed out. I couldn't read it. The tablet translates automatically when touched, Nari said, her head tilting in confusion. Did you not see the translation? Jin Su tried to remember. Had there been text in his language on the tablet? He had been so focused on their conversation about being research partners that he might not have looked carefully. I may have missed it, he admitted. But Nari, I didn't realize I was agreeing to a breeding contract. Nari's skin cycled through several colors before settling on a thoughtful blue. I see the confusion. In your language, breeding implies physical reproduction. For Lumi, the term encompasses any productive collaboration that creates new knowledge or ideas. Perhaps generation contract would be more accurate. Director Kim interjected smoothly. Perhaps you could explain exactly what this agreement entails, Representative Nari. Jin Su is concerned about the expectations. Nari nodded. Of course. The agreement establishes Jin Su and myself as official knowledge partners for one full cycle of your planet around your star. We will meet regularly to exchange cultural insights, scientific knowledge, and personal perspectives. These exchanges will be documented and shared with both our peoples as a new form of cross-species understanding. She continued, there are also 4 ceremonial gatherings to mark the seasons of collaboration. These are important cultural events for my people and would be attended by Lumi and human officials. That doesn't sound so bad, Jin Su said cautiously. It is an honor, Nari assured him, her skin glowing warmly. You were chosen because your mind patterns showed exceptional compatibility with Lumi thought structures. The Harmony crystal confirmed this. Jin Su touched his pocket where the crystal still rested. About that crystal, what exactly does it do? It creates a subtle resonance between us, Nari explained. Not mind reading, but a gentle awareness of emotional states. It helps facilitate deeper understanding during our collaboration. Director Kim looked thoughtful. This could be an unprecedented opportunity for human-Lumi relations, Jin Su. And the contract does seem to be primarily about cultural exchange, which was your original assignment anyway. Jin Su considered his options. The situation was strange, but not as alarming as he had first thought. And breaking the contract would cause diplomatic problems that could affect Earth's access to Lumi technology. If I agree to continue with this contract, he said slowly, I'd like clearer communication going forward. No more assumptions about what I do or don't understand about Lumi customs. Nari's skin brightened. Agreed. In fact, that is exactly the kind of learning this collaboration is designed to produce. Better communication methods between our species. Jin Su looked at Director Kim, who nodded encouragingly. All right, he said finally. I'll continue with the agreement, but I'd like a full translation of all the terms. Of course, Nari said, producing a tablet from her flowing robes. I brought the complete document for your records. And this. She held out a small silver device. Is a proper translator calibrated specifically for our exchanges. It will prevent further misunderstandings. As Jin Su accepted the translator, the crystal in his pocket grew warm. Neri's skin pulsed with a matching pattern of light. Our first official collaboration session is scheduled for tomorrow, she said. We will begin documenting the story of how our partnership began, with a series of enlightening misunderstandings. Despite everything, Jin Su found himself smiling. That actually sounds interesting. The story of how I accidentally ended up in a breeding contract during my first diplomatic assignment. Neri's skin rippled with what Jin Su now recognized as amusement. In Lumi history, the most productive collaborations often begin with confusion. It creates space for new understanding to grow. Director Kim looked relieved. Then it settled. Jin Su, you'll continue as Earth's representative in this collaboration. I'll inform headquarters that the misunderstanding has been resolved. As they left the director's office, Neri walked beside Jin Su, her skin glowing with soft, blue light. I am pleased we will continue our work together, she said quietly. Few humans have ever experienced true Lumi collaboration. I believe you will find it rewarding. The crystal pulsed warmly in Jin Su's pocket, and he had the strange feeling that despite all the confusion, he might have stumbled into something remarkable. Retrieve the morning sun streamed through the large windows of the collaboration space that had been set up for Jin Su and Neri. 3 months had passed since the contract revelation, and Jin Su had to admit that despite the unusual beginning, their cultural exchange sessions had become the highlight of his week. Today, Neri arrived carrying a strange device that looked like a small silver tree with tiny blue lights at the end of each branch. What's that? Jin Su asked as she set it on the table between them. A thought mapper, Neri explained, her skin glowing with excited patterns. It helps visualize how different minds approach the same problem. I thought it might help us understand why humans and Lumi sometimes reach different conclusions. Jin Su leaned forward with interest. Over the past months, he had grown more comfortable with Lumi technology. How does it work? We each hold one of these sensors, Neri demonstrated by picking up a small silver disc, and think about the same question. The tree shows our thought patterns. Jin Su took the other sensor. It felt warm in his palm. What should we think about? He asked. Neri's skin rippled with thoughtful patterns. Something simple to start. How about, what makes a good meal? Jin Su nodded and closed his eyes, thinking about his favorite foods, the comfort of eating with family, the satisfaction of a perfectly cooked dish. The small tree began to glow. On Jin Su's side, the lights formed quick, jumping patterns, changing colors rapidly. On Neri's side, they moved in slow, circular motions, mostly staying blue with occasional shifts to purple. Fascinating, Neri said, studying the patterns. Your thoughts connect taste, memory, and emotion in bursts. Mine focus on nutritional harmony and biochemical balance. Jin Su watched the dancing lights. We're thinking about the same thing, but in completely different ways. Yes, Neri agreed. This is why translation is so difficult between our species. Words may match, but the mental frameworks don't align. Over the next hour, they tried different questions, watching how their thought patterns diverged and occasionally converged. Jin Su was surprised to see that when they thought about concepts like beauty or friendship, their patterns showed more similarities than differences. I've been wondering, Jin Su said as they took a break. How does your society handle disagreements? In human history, different viewpoints often lead to conflict. Neri's skin darkened to a thoughtful blue. Disagreement is valued among Lumi, but handled differently than in human societies. When Lumi disagree, they enter what you might call a thought-share state. Like mind reading? Jin Su asked. Not exactly, Neri said. We don't directly share thoughts, but we can join our emotional responses and reasoning patterns. It allows us to experience each other's perspective while maintaining our individuality. Jin Su tried to imagine it. That sounds incredibly useful. Human conflicts often happen because we can't truly understand how others feel. Yes, Nari agreed. Though our system has limitations too. Sometimes we reach consensus too quickly, missing creative possibilities that come from longer disagreement. Jin Su thought about this. Maybe that's why the Earth Alliance and Lumi Federation wanted this collaboration. We have different strengths. Neri's skin brightened. Precisely. Your human capacity for individual innovation, combined with our harmony-seeking, could create something new. Jin Su picked up his cup of tea, another habit he and Neri now shared during their sessions. "Can I ask you something personal?" "Of course," Neri replied. "Why did you volunteer for this collaboration? You must have had many options in your career." Neri was quiet for a moment, her skin shifting through subtle patterns. "I was considered unusual among my people. I have a stronger drive for individual exploration than most Lumi. My thought patterns sometimes diverge from our norms." "You're a rebel," Jin Su said with a smile. Neri's skin flashed with what Jin Su now recognized as amusement, a very mild one by human standards, but enough that when this opportunity arose, I was suggested as a good match. My unusual patterns were thought to be more compatible with human thinking. Jin Su considered this. "So we're both a bit outside the norm for our species." "Yes," Nari agreed, "which makes our collaboration more challenging, but potentially more valuable." Their conversation was interrupted by a soft chime from the crystal Jin Su now wore on a cord around his neck. Over the months, he had learned that the Harmony crystal served as both a translator and a subtle connection between them. It helped him understand Neri's skin patterns and alerted them to important emotional shifts. "The crystal senses a significant realization," Neri explained, her skin pulsing in rhythm with the crystal's light. "What are you thinking?" Jin Su hadn't been aware of any special thought, but as he focused, he realized something had been forming in his mind. "I was thinking that this collaboration isn't just about humans and Lumi understanding each other. It's about creating a new way of thinking that neither of our species could develop alone." Neri's skin lit up with bright, excited patterns. "Yes, that is exactly what the ancient Lumi texts describe as true collaboration, not merely exchange, but generation of the new." The thought mapper between them suddenly burst into activity, its branches lighting up in synchronized patterns that blended both their thought styles. "Look," Neri said softly. "The mapper shows harmony." Jin Su stared at the beautiful pattern of lights. "Is this what you meant by breeding in the contract? Creating new thought patterns?" "Yes," Neri confirmed. "This is the beginning of what my people call mind offspring. New concepts that could not exist in either parent culture alone." Jin Su felt a strange mix of excitement and wonder. "It's beautiful." "It is," Nari agreed, "and rare. Most collaborations take many cycles to reach even momentary harmony." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the dancing lights that represented their shared understanding. Later that afternoon, they moved to the garden area of the collaboration space. It had become their habit to walk among the plants during the second half of their sessions, finding that movement often sparked new ideas. "The second seasonal ceremony is approaching," Neri said as they walked beside a small stream filled with colorful fish. "Are you prepared?" Jin Su nodded. He had attended the first ceremony 2 months ago, a formal event with officials from both Earth Alliance and the Lumi Federation. It had been strange but interesting, primarily involving symbolic exchanges of knowledge and shared meditation. "Will this one be different?" he asked. "Yes," Neri replied. "The second ceremony focuses on challenges. We will present the difficulties we've encountered in our collaboration and how we've worked to overcome them." Jin Su smiled. "We have plenty of material there, starting with the contract misunderstanding." Neri's skin rippled with amusement. "Indeed, but also the more subtle challenges, like how you process information in linear sequences, while I tend to absorb it in networked patterns. or how I get hungry every few hours, while you can go all day on light energy, Jin Su added. Their easy conversation was interrupted by an urgent message alert on Jin Su's communication device. He checked it with a frown. It's from Director Kim, he told Nari. There's some kind of situation at headquarters. She wants me there immediately. Nari's skin dimmed with concern. Go. We can continue tomorrow. Jin Su hurried to Earth Alliance headquarters, his mind still half focused on their discussion. When he arrived, he was surprised to find not only Director Kim, but also several high-ranking officials in the conference room. Jin Su. Director Kim greeted him tensely. We have a problem. The Proxima Coalition has filed a formal protest against your collaboration with Nari. Jin Su blinked in confusion. The Proxima Coalition was a group of star systems that had long been suspicious of both Earth and the Lumi. On what grounds? He asked. They claim the collaboration is not cultural exchange, but technology transfer, one of the officials explained. They believe Earth is gaining unfair access to Lumi energy technology through your connection. Director Kim looked grim. They're demanding immediate termination of the contract and inspection of all your session records. Jin Su felt a wave of protective anger. This is ridiculous. Our collaboration is exactly what we've documented, cultural and knowledge exchange. We haven't discussed any restricted technology. We know, Director Kim said, but the Proxima Coalition has significant influence in the Galactic Council. We need to prepare a response. Jin Su touched the crystal at his neck, feeling its warmth. I need to tell Nari. Already done, another official said. The Lumi Federation has been notified. They're sending representatives. Jin Su sat down, his mind racing. The collaboration that had started with such confusion had become deeply important to him. The thought of it ending prematurely felt like losing something precious.